It was December 2022, and I just heard about this new thing called ChatGPT, so I had to give it a try. I had no clue about it, but after 2 minutes and a couple of questions, I was amazed with its capacity to give me answers. You probably felt the same. Hey, write me an essay about the Industrial Revolution, and he does it, in a matter of seconds. Then you start to think about all the homework you had to do as a student, and all the hours you spent because of that teacher that had nothing better to do than mess up your Christmas holidays. This is magic. How can he do it? How is it possible that with just some simple instructions, he writes everything I need instantly? Then you use it more often, and you start to see that it was not as smart as you thought. Just give it some simple math problems and the answers he provides make absolutely no sense. And finally you realize that this ChatGPT is just a kid, like a 5 years old that just learned how to read and how to write. But the scary part is that this is just the beginning. This is the most limited AI tool we will ever have. We are at the start of the exponential curve that won't stop until we see ourselves surrounded by computers as intelligent and as full of knowledge as we could ever imagine. ChatGPT is just a stupid child, so let's see what's coming next. We've seen an explosion of new AI tools during the last year, from ChatGPT 3 to the endless wave of applications that have appeared later. We are immersed in a race where each day we have some new advancements. Just this month, OpenAI released the new ChatGPT 4 Turbo, Meta announced the Llama 3 model, we have a new way of generating music from text with Udio, new chips from Intel to compete with the latest Nvidia Blackwell, and Mistral dropping a new open source model that anyone can download and run at home if you have enough GPUs. We've also seen how we can generate video from text with Sora, create audio effects from a soundless video, the new full self-driving version from Tesla that finally looks like it meets the expectations, and we've also been able to experience the evolution of the Midjourney images from the first version to the latest ones. The rate of improvement of this technology is unprecedented, and we're just getting started. It's not only the software side, the hardware is also ramping up. Nvidia revenue last year doubled the previous one. The amount of chips and GPUs they produce is immense, and even working like this, there is still not enough supply for all the demand that we are having. And if that was not enough, there are also new hardware approaches that take advantage of the physics of these devices, like what is being developed at Extropic AI. But all of this is just a glimpse of what is going to be the new AI era, when this technology impregnates every layer of our society. Just try to remember how things were 20 years ago, when computers were just a small thing for gamers and geeks, and now you wouldn't know how to watch a movie without Netflix. Like it or not, this is going to be a part of our lives forever, and you better keep updated with it if you don't want to be like your grandma who still doesn't understand how the little things on the screen move. So, we already know what's going on right now, but what else is coming in the imminent future? Today's artificial intelligence is like a child. It either knows how to do a lot of things at a basic level like a student that learns a bit of everything, or it just knows how to do a single thing at a professional level, as the little chess prodigies that are grandmasters by the age of 12. And we've had these super specific AIs for a long time. The computer Deep Blue beat the world chess champion in 1997, so it's been a while since computers have been able to beat humans at a single task. We've had AI tools that were able to read handwritten numbers or identify images for decades. So what is different now? What makes ChatGPT and all other LLMs so powerful? Basically the fact that they are not single-purpose AIs. They are supposed to be able to understand anything that we say to them, and give us any answer that we need. And that's why ChatGPT got so popular. Anyone could ask anything, and you got a pretty good answer, without having to install a few Python libraries or know anything about programming. It was just the same as looking for information using Google. You only need to formulate the question and the tool does all the rest. But you already knew most of this, so let's see what's coming next. If you have experienced the difference between ChatGPT 3 and 4, you probably have an idea about the pace of development that we will have during the next years. And if you haven't, it's just like the difference between talking to a child and to an adult. And that is just in 1 year of development. This will happen every year from now on, and before we know it, it will give more accurate answers than most of the people on the planet. In a couple of years, we will go from an average student to the freaking best student you have ever imagined, and then to the wisest teacher that the world has ever seen. And from there, it will blow our minds. Right now, the engineers at OpenAI or at any other company are already using the AI tools to improve the code of the tools themselves. We could say that the current AIs are capable of understanding parts of their code, but once they can understand it in its totality, they will be able to iterate and improve on their own. Some people call this the threshold to AGI, but in any case, we will have programs that will be able to update and improve without us needing to fully understand what they are doing. And improving on their own is just one thing. Imagine all the other things we could have if we had access to an infinite amount of intelligence, reasoning, and analytic capabilities. Do you know the huge amount of data that is generated but cannot be analyzed? And I'm not talking about the cameras that the Chinese government has, I'm talking about astronomical data. We have many terabytes of telescope observations that are still in some computer waiting for someone to find a new planet on them. I'm talking about medical information, vast results from experiments that need someone with the knowledge to understand them, and also transit patterns that are hidden in some server looking for someone that knows about them so that you can go from work to home in less time. There is an immense number of bytes that cannot be analyzed because we don't have enough people that can do the work. With these new AI tools, we will have the equivalent of an infinite amount of intelligent people that not only can do this, but that can do it better than any human being could possibly do. How much has increased the cost of education in the past decades? How much time is wasted because the teachers have to spend most of their time teaching in the same way to very different students? With this technology, we could have a personalized teacher for every person on the planet. A teacher that knows you, that knows how you like to learn, how to get the best of you, that knows every subject better than any human could do, that follows you in your everyday life, that teaches you whatever you want, whenever you need. How much money would you pay for a personal trainer, or a personal driver, or a personal psychologist with you every time you wanted? We will be able to have personal assistants that know everything you need, that are following you everywhere and that can do all the work you want them to do, so that you can spend more time doing the things you enjoy, the things that you truly love. How many lonely people are there that only need someone to talk and someone to listen to? The Nintendo DS Brain Training was a huge success of a game because it kept all people mentally active. How much more active would it be to be talking to someone about the topics you love the most? Or about the things that you always wanted to learn, but you had no one that knew about them? How many hours of time are wasted in big companies doing corporate tasks, like preparing a PowerPoint presentation or going to a meeting to take the requirements of a new project? All of this could be easily automated by an artificial intelligence that does all of this work and more without having to waste the time of people doing these repetitive and mostly useless tasks. And there are many more things to do with artificial intelligence. OpenAI recently showed the new model Sora, which can generate video from text. I don't know if you had seen these videos before, but they are generated using only text instructions. And if that is not enough, look how this technology was just 1 year ago. Just think of the new capabilities that we will have a couple of years from now. It's not that hard to imagine a future where you tell Netflix to prepare a movie based on The Lord of the Rings, but that happens in a Mad Max post-apocalyptic future, and after just a few minutes, the movie is ready, and you can choose the actors that play on it and even decide on what happens during the film. All of these and many more things will be possible, and these are only the things we can imagine now, not the full amount of opportunities that we will have in the future. This is just starting. In just a few years, we won't be able to distinguish if we are talking to a human or to an AI. And once we are there, we will have an infinite amount of intelligence at our reach. We will be able to solve any problem that we have today, and we will all be able to benefit from this amazing technology that will change our lives forever. Don't be afraid of this new technology. It will be like being afraid of the printing press, of fertilizers, or of computers. This will make our lives many times better. It will make everything way cheaper, and you will amaze your grandchildren by telling them stories about how the world was before it. Just enjoy the ride and prepare for the amazing future that is coming. As always, take care and learn more.